Post-match analysis for Chat with Chaps, where it finished at the Den. Millwall 1, Sunderland 1. Now, before we talk about anything football, I just want to take a moment to pay respect and tribute to, first of all, the sad passing of a friend of mine and certainly a friend of the channel's father, Craig Jones. Sadly lost his father recently to prostate cancer. And we just want to send all of our love, thoughts, condolences, and strength to you, Craig, and to your family. Real good guy, yeah, I just want to make sure you know that we're all thinking of you. And on top of that, Lions TV's Dan. I don't know Dan. I don't think I've ever actually met him, but he's a fellow podcaster, and I just want to also share my thoughts and send strength and love to him on the sad passing of his father a couple of weeks back. Football is not as important as things like that. And I think it's important that we recognise that. And also to two individuals that I'm keeping everything crossed, but I have heard both of them are okay. But there was two individuals taken ill during the game yesterday, and football goes on a back burner with stuff like this. And it was rightly paused for a long time whilst those got the help they needed. And as I say, thoughts, love and strength that they're both back to full health very soon. There's too much of this going on, and yeah, just want to send them all of the love, the strength, and the thoughts in the world. Okay, now let's move on to football. So 1-1 draw against Sunderland. Now, look, I think both teams coming into the game were probably thinking, oh, we could win it. There was Sunderland 5 players out, 5 key players out. We obviously learned that Jake Cooper is going to be out for 3 months-ish after injuring, I think, his medial ligaments in the game against Stoke. And says, what a man, by the way, first of all, it's his first significant injury, right? He doesn't miss games, Jake Cooper. And not only that, but to carry on and play, obviously, he didn't realise the extent of the damage. So we were without Cooper. They were missing, Romain Mundle, Dennis Serkin, Alan Brown, Trey Hume, Joe Bellingham. Very good players at this level. But that shouldn't be taken for granted, because the 5 coming in will want to prove themselves. And I think they did. And we'll certainly talk about that. But, for us, the team that started was obviously in goal, Lucas Jensen. Back 4, the big decision was, what's he going to do? Is he going to start Danny Mack and move Leonard centrally, or is he going to start Hutch? And he went for the latter. So back 4, right to left of Ryan Leonard. Sean Hutchinson returning as captain. Javit Tanganga moves to the left-hand side of the centre-backs. And then Joe Bryan on the left. Casper Denor and George Saville in midfield. Romain Esse on the right. George Honeyman behind central striker Josh Coburn. And then Duncan Watmore against his former club on the left-hand side. Sunderland, yes, they're about 5 players, but their 11's still decent. They're a good side, and they've proven that. And I think that the lads that came in, certainly Watson, really impressed me in the first 20 minutes. I thought Sunderland were a good side. But in my opinion, the game overall could be summarised by certainly a game of 2 halves. And I felt we were worthy for a point. And I think, if I'm honest, a share of the spoils is probably what both sides deserved. Okay, getting into the game. Just before we do that, had the pleasure yesterday of doing an executive experience with my dad and some of the boys from the podcast. It was a really, really good experience. I had a pleasure of meeting Baz. So Baz, if you're listening, hi mate. Nice to have a brief chat with you. And also Dennis. Dennis, we had a little bit of a chat. I think it's your birthday. You gave me some feedback. So hopefully, mate, this camera angle is all right. I'm also using the new mic as well. So hopefully it sounds clear. But yes, nonetheless, the game kicks off. And let's be honest, for the first 20 minutes, they battered us. Ryan Leonard was getting... I haven't seen a winger give Ryan Leonard as much grief as the young lad Ian Watson, just 18 years of age. I think he's only played about half a dozen games. It's not many, certainly. And he destroyed Ryan Leonard in the first sort of 20 minutes. And I'm not just picking on Ryan Leonard, but we just weren't very good. And they take the lead after 10 minutes. it was their first proper chance, but we give away a free kick. Casper Denor gives it away. Is a free kick. I think he's just too close, unfortunately, to their player. The ball comes in, and a combination of, I think, weather conditions, and I'll talk about that in a second, and us missing Jake Cooper, and then just really poor marking. And I'm going to have to single out Duncan Watmore. If you watch it back, you'll see exactly what I mean. He's in no man's land. But the ball comes across. Hutch kind of gets it away, but his header doesn't get a lot of distance on it. I do think the weather plays a part in that. And then Aaron Connolly's just free on the edge of the area. Make no mistake, it's a super finish from Aaron Connolly. Arrowed into the bottom corner. I think Lucas Jensen's on side. I don't think he could do much about it. And we go 1-0 down. And like I say, I think it's a stupid free kick to give away, but we win our fair share of those types of free kicks. So you can't bemoan that too much. I think if Cooper's in the box, maybe we deal with it better. And then, as I say, watch it back. Duncan Watmore is chasing shadows. I don't know what he's doing. He sort of, I think he starts on the edge and then he goes to try and go to another defender because he thinks, another player because he thinks they're unmarked, and then he ends up being caught between the two. And they go 1-0 up, and rightly so. And then it should be 2 moments later where there's a scramble in the box. Lucas Jensen gets down and sort of snatches the ball off of their centre forward. On 17 minutes, Watson again tears Lennon a new one, twists him up, cuts in, has a shot, fairly decent save and well held by Lucas Jensen. But in all honesty, the first half was pretty consistent one-way traffic. I've not seen a side come down there and dominate us like that in a long time. So massive credit to Sunderland. I think for me, as a football fan, if you like, for Sunderland fans listen to this, I was like, yesterday would show whether they're the real deal or not, because they're 5 players down. They're coming to arguably one of the hardest home grounds in the country, certainly in the league. And could you come in there and put a performance, or would your younger players not rise to the occasion? And I thought they were excellent in the first half, and we couldn't get anywhere near, and we were chasing shadows. And I thought we were really poor. And my old man turned to me and he goes to me, I wonder if the weather's playing a part. And my initial reaction was like, come on, mate, the Sunday League, surely it doesn't. But you know what? It can't just be so coincidental that we couldn't put a foot right in the first half. Literally, no one did. And in the second half, we used it to our advantage by playing a lot more direct football, trying to play the ball in behind the 2 centre-backs. By the way, I'll come on to Ballard in a minute because he does a lot of things that piss me off. But I thought up until the goal, Mepham and Ballard were fantastic. I thought they were best centre-back pairing I've seen down the den all season. Obviously, Cooper and Tango aside, but I thought they were excellent. So credit to them, and they dealt with a lot that we threw at them. But we tried to use the weather to our advantage in the second half. But it can't be a coincidence that, as I say, we were so bad in the first half, and in the second half they didn't really threaten us, and we had all the ball. So I think there's something in it. But yeah, first half, look, I haven't taken many more notes other than what I've just talked through there. I thought they dominated us. Obviously, we had the break in play, which maybe slowed their momentum down. We were trying to get back into it, but we were huffing and puffing, and nothing was falling for us. You make your own luck, of course, but yeah, it was poor. And then we go in second half, and I'm having my tea and biscuits at half time. It's lovely in there, I tell you. I wish I could do it every week. I wasn't having tea and biscuits. I had another pint. But the second half, Tom Bradshaw's coming on. Now, I really like Tom Bradshaw as a person. He's a fantastic person, and he's been a great servant to the club. But what does that say about how Harris rates Langstaff? Like, Langstaff did a real good job for us leading the line on his own, not his natural game. Thought he really started to develop, and now he signs himself probably 4th choice striker, which I just find a bit odd. I don't personally think, from what I've seen of Tom, that he offers us more than Langstaff. Admittedly, he's getting back to fitness. I understand all that, but it's just interesting that Harris goes with Bradshaw over either the other two. And I think had we not have equalised, certain questions would have been asked of Neil Harris based on that decision. what I would say, and I just want to address this really quickly whilst I'm talking about Neil Harris, the man, I don't. It will take him to go, I think, for people to realise and appreciate the job he's doing. That man, when you actually think about what he's given to our club, the guy is just, in my lifetime, he's the only legend, proper Millwall legend in my lifetime. He is just, I think the job he is doing is outstanding. He's got us a couple of points outside the playoffs. We're now 8 unbeaten. He's, and we're playing some decent football times. Yeah, all right, we mixed it up yesterday, but we played to the conditions, and his changes he made go on and change the game towards the back end of the second half. But I just, listen, I get it. He might not be for everyone, but I just think he's a legend. I think we just need to enjoy what's going on at a football club at the minute, how everyone is together, because we haven't always had that. And I think people have short memories, personally. And for me, if it's down to me, I'll be offering him a new deal and hoping he signs it. So we shall see. But anyway, that was a slight tangent. But we have a good opportunity. I actually missed it because I was finishing the dregs of said pint. But Japhet Tanganga, I've seen it back. Ball comes into the box, gets up really well. If you actually watch, he gets up really high, but unfortunately just goes over the bar. Probably could and should do better. Overall, I felt our set piece delivery, conditions considering, were pretty good. So I don't often say this, so I want to make sure I pull it out, that I felt Joe Bryan's distribution yesterday was pretty good. I think there was one or two that weren't, but that free kick, there was a free kick in the first half, which I think was blown up for offside. And then the free kick for the next chance we had on 52, where Bradshaw's just got to do better. He has to do better. SA wins the free kick after being brought down. SA, not a lot came off for him yesterday, just whilst we're talking of Rom. He looked frustrated, and it was one of those days where 90% of what he tried to do just didn't come off. Listen, he's a youngster and he's not going to get things right all the time. But to me, and I've said this before, yesterday showed why he's not the finished article yet, because he will have games where things just don't come off and he tries too much. The thing I like about it is he doesn't stop trying too much, right? Because sometimes you'd be like, all right, okay, well, I'm just going to keep it simple now. I'm not going to take risks. So I like that. And I think, again, similar to what I said about Aris, just enjoy him because he's not going to be here forever. But yeah, Bradshaw's got to do better there. He really does. Then we have another opportunity. Really, and actually, if you watch this, I didn't realise how good of a shot and save this was, obviously, from Patterson, the returning Sunderland goalkeeper. Coburn sort of gets the ball and sort of turns and smacks it from really far out, and it is going in. It's a really good effort and a very good save from Patterson. We recycled the ball and ended up getting a corner. We had forced a lot of corners in the second half, and second half we had 73% possession in the second half. Now that's not a Millwall side, is it? Coincidentally, though, our goal does come on a counter-attack. So we're still not able to break teams down by playing through them. But as we're going through now, we did have a number of opportunities. We weren't the only ones, though. They did have two moments in the second half. Their first chance fell to Mayenda, who I thought was excellent, by the way. Caused us, both him and Watson, caused us untold amount of problems, in honesty. And on 58, plays a 1-2. Brian gets caught out of position, and then he sort of twists and turns and sort of does tango as well. And then it's a fairly comfortable save from Jensen, but given the weather conditions and stuff, he does well to hold on to it there from him. And then from like 62 minutes, we just honestly it was at that point, and even Sunderland fans listen to this, it was just such one-way traffic. And it would have been a travesty had we not have equalised. It would. And that's just general reflections of the game. All of the stats will back it up as well. And what I absolutely loved is we were really pushing everyone forwards. Denor has another chance on 73, a long effort. We make the sub for Duncan Watmore to come off. I thought Duncan Watmore and George Honeyman, I don't know if it's because they're playing their former club, a club that they love, but I thought they were both really poor yesterday. Obviously, a big fan of Mr. Watmore, but I thought he was poor yesterday. If you actually look at his defensive work as well in some of the transitions. I don't think he was on top, and I know we had the super start to the season, but maybe it's now Aziz's place to lose. So we make the change for Watmore. We then bring Ivanovic on, and then we're huffing and puffing. Imaku comes on. I think Imaku and Langstaff come on the 89th minute. And at this point, and this is where you've got to give credit to Harris, because he's made all those substitutions, right? He's gone for it, right? And I think at that point we had three at the back, which consisted of Joe Bryan, Javit Tanganga, and Ryan Leonard. So, and only just Casper in the midfield. At this point, Sav had gone off. It was a real roll of the dice, and you have to give the man credit because it goes on and ends up working. And the goal, I've watched it so many times. It is outstanding from all involved. So I was actually going to put the clip in here, but I think if I do, it'll be taken down for copyright. So I'm not going to. But you can see it. It's all over YouTube, and you can actually watch the whole game back on Sunderland's YouTube. So have a little look at that. Side note: Sunderland's manager said that we're really effective at what we do, which is quick and direct, and we played very, very long balls in the second half. He referenced that, and he was right. We did, and we caused them problems with it. But we don't get our just desserts until the 93rd minute, which it's a real sucker punch for them, and for us it feels like a victory, right? But what happens is they break forward. The boys played through to the one sub they made. They didn't make many substitutions, and I think that's because the 5 players that they've got in the side at the minute that wouldn't normally be are ultimately their bench. And when that squad is full, I think they've got a very, very good squad. They probably just lack a central striker, I would say, when they've got a fully fit squad, but they've got some very, very good players. Arguably, they look a better side without Jack Clark, similar to us, where everything went through Jack Clark. He was Zian Fleming, everything went through Zian. I think they look a lot better. Ian Watson looks like him. Mayenda's good. Patrick Roberts has been phenomenal this season for them until he got injured. So they're a very good side, and I fully expect them to be in the top 2 come the end of the season. For me, they're better than Burnley. I haven't seen Sheffield United play, but from what I've seen, I think the top 4 teams in this league now are Leeds, Sunderland, Sheffield United, and probably Middlesbrough, who seem to be battering everyone at the minute. But anyway, the goal. So ball was played through to their sub, Alexic or something. I can't quite remember his name. And we're looking for offside. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. I'm glad it wasn't. I don't think it was offside, but I'm glad it wasn't. He then runs through. Now watch Ryan Leonard. Ryan Leonard doesn't give up. 93rd minute. And let's be fair, he wasn't very good for a lot of time yesterday, Ryan Leonard. But he tracks back, he chases him, and probably does just enough to put him off. Lucas Jensen then, Alexic tries to sort of nutmeg him and go through his legs. He just gets down quick enough, the big man, and it hits, I think, his ankle. And it could have gone anywhere, but it goes to Joe Bryan, who does superbly. Well, it doesn't go to Joe Bryan, but Joe Bryan does superbly to not only keep the ball in play, but an arrow of a pass into Idemo. All these things, that the sequence of events here that happen that lead to this goal. This is why I love it. I want to explain it. Imaku then roasts I don't know who it was, but absolutely roasts him. And what I love here from Imaku is we retain possession of the ball. It goes to Langstaff. But what Imaku does is, and if you remember, when he got sent off, he went down too easily and he was looking for something. Here, he goes down. The foul isn't given because we keep the ball. What does he do? He gets straight back up and puts the afterburners on, continues his run, literally down the touchline. Langstaff, superb ball into Ivanovic. Looks up, plays it into Ivanovic's feet. He plays it hard. Ivanovic does super to control it, real quick. And then he's out of his feet and he plays it back to Imaku, who's carried on his run. Imaku then drives, knocks it past Mepham. At this point, Mepham's knackered and Imaku's fresh, and there is not many players, in my opinion, that can keep up with him. He's then got 3 players on him, Imaku, and he kind of scuffs his cross, but it ends up perfectly. It sort of bobbles across the face of goal. And Bradshaw, I thought Bradshaw was going to put Aziz off because he tried to get to it and he couldn't. But Aziz, And you spoke about this in his post match. He said he's been been working on getting to the back post by the coaching staff. So that's deliberate, right? This is what I'm saying about Harris and the coaching staff. You've got to give them credit. And it's a good finish. Make no mistake about it, because Patterson's there. Bradshaw's trying to get in the way. You're in the 93rd minute. The pressure's on. And I have not heard the ground erupt like that in a long, long time. Look, that feeling was just, if you could bottle it, you would be a very, very rich man. It was an outstanding way to finish the game. And yeah, you know, real great moment. And it feels like a win to us, of course, but it wasn't. And I've seen a lot of piss takes from Sunderland fans. We celebrated like we won the cup, but I think it was just that build up of constant pressure and tension in the second half, and then for it to actually come to something. Plus, it was the biggest crowd this season, I believe, 18,500. I don't want to give massive credit to Sunderland fans as well. I thought you made a lot of noise. Spoke to a few of them in the exec lounge as well, and got a lot of respect for Sunderland. Proper club, proper fans. So I wish you all the best for the rest of the season, until we play you again, of course. But it made for a good atmosphere overall. And like I said, Sunderland fans might not agree with this, but I think 1-1 was a fair result. Just because of the way it happened for you, I think you maybe think slightly differently. But based on the second half, we deserved it, and both teams finished 1-1. I mean, the game kind of didn't finish there. Sunderland did have a couple of not moments, but you know, Mayenda got into the box. There was a Tanganga tackle, I think, on 94 minutes that was phenomenal, because Sunderland were potentially breaking. And this is what I mean about this team. Just enjoy it. Everyone is giving everything. And why are they giving everything? Well, because they're being motivated by Neil Harris. That's what he does. His man management is outstanding. The only thing, and we were talking about this in our podcast chat, is would have liked for him to have given more credit to Imaku, because without Imaku, that goal doesn't happen. Made a real difference in the 5 minutes he had when he came on. And he's had a tough time, Imaku, and I think some of his social media antics, i.e. what he posts on there about not, you know, it's obvious about not being in the team. I think that just shows he's got a bit of growing up to do. But I think he offers a lot. I really do. And hopefully now this is his way back in. And who knows? Maybe the fact that Harris didn't give him credit is great man management again, because maybe there's something in that will just push Idemo on to prove him wrong, right? So let's see. But look, fabulous way to end the Saturday for me personally. A good game of two informed teams. You know, Sunderland now 9 unbeaten, we're 8 unbeaten. Also another first. A first for two summer signings to score their first goals for their clubs in Aaron Connolly and Femi Aziz. So it's good for them as well. And I think that's about it, to be honest. It was a really good all round occasion, obviously, except for those that needed medical attention, and we just hope that they're okay. But two good sides, and I don't think there's anything stopping us getting in the top 6 now. I really don't. Like, if we can continue that level of performance, we've got that depth now. We were relentless in that second half. You know, it was such a good second half to watch, and the occasion was just brilliant. Again, we scored on the counter. I would like us to be able to score more goals from just general play. But in fairness, both Millwall and Sunderland are both usually teams that like the other team to have the ball. Did Sunderland sit too deep in the second half? Maybe. Don't know. But look, we'll take it. And the only thing I would say, and this is coming back to Ballard, I've never known a side to waste time so much. Literally from the moment the second half kicked off, they were just trying to waste time. And Dan Ballard was the main perpetrator. So in that respect, they got their just desserts, because then they didn't have any time to try and rectify our scoring. So there we go. Referee, I didn't really notice him, which to me says he was all right, one of the better ones. I can't really remember him too much. So therefore, he couldn't have made that much of an impact on the game. Final thing for me, man of the match. I agreed with the man of the match that the club gave, and obviously came in after the game and said a few words, but it was Casper Denor. I thought he was outstanding. Even in the first half, he was showing for the ball. He was the one that was trying to make things happen. The engine he's got on him, the interceptions, the tackles, the challenge. He is, And do you know what it is? You can just tell he's starting to get it and starting to love, I think, being a Millwall player. You just see him at the end going round and just pumping his chest and clapping the fans. He's getting it, and I think he's outstanding. I think he is a top end championship central midfield. And I've said that since we signed him. I just think we need to get the best out of him. And again, Neil Harris didn't play him last season, brought him back in, and now for me, him and Tanganga have got to be the first two names on the team sheet with SA very closely behind. So yeah, fabulous way to end the game. Just checking my notes here. As I said, draw probably fair result. I think we can easily be a top 6 side if we can maintain this consistency. And I think Sunderland will certainly be title contenders based on what I've seen. And I'll leave it there. Guys, as always, thank you very much for listening. What I will say is, of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. There'll be a little box if you're watching this on YouTube on your Mac or your desktop or whatever. If not, please just take the 2 seconds, even if you're a Sunderland fan, by the way, because everything we're doing this season, all of the proceeds, not even the profits, we're not taking anything out of any of the costs or anything. All the money will be going to Cancer Research UK, and it affects way too many people. Unfortunately, we've touched on it at the start of the game, so please do subscribe. Put a comment on there, helps the algorithm. Even if you just say hi Chris, that's fine, or Chris, your hair's shit, I don't care. Just put a comment because it helps the algorithm. Share it with your friends, put it in any groups that you're in, because we want to make a difference. And we'll share at Christmas time the tally of where we are now. It's not going to be mind-blowing in the first season because it just isn't. It's the nature of podcasting, but we appreciate it. And as always, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it here. And there's just going to leave you with a very exciting show that'll be out in the next week. So keep your eyes peeled because I personally really enjoyed it, and hopefully you will too. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for listening as always. And of course, bye for now.